This is Mari Robeson of Love Lulu Creative, a podcast that supports and celebrates artists and creative entrepreneurs while giving back to the community in unique and meaningful ways. This is episode number 28, and I'm really excited because today I had such a fun experience with my workout buddy. Today on the show I have Kirsi Kilpelainen, and she is a photographer. She took some photos in my studio today for my new website, my new collection, and we had so much fun, and I learned so much about what it's like to be a photographer. But this episode is really loaded with some great information if that is something that you think you may want to pursue as a creative career. Kirsi was a Hot 100 recipient, which means she was named one of the best 100 photographers for senior portraiture on the globe, along with many other wonderful accolades. She is really incredibly talented and has some really great advice for us today. She does senior photography mainly, but today we shot in my studio, and I just really learned a lot. I think you're really going to enjoy this one with Kirsi. So stay tuned for a very fun episode and learning all about what it's like to be a photographer. Hi, Kirsi.
Hello.
I'm so happy to have you on today. This is so much fun. We just did the most amazing photo shoot, and I'm blown away by your talent, and I'm so happy to have you as the creative entrepreneur.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here.
So, Kirsi, you're with LK Photo Shoots.
Yes,
correct.
LK Photo Shoots.
Yay!
And I specialize in high school seniors, but I love to shoot other things just kind of on the side. Sorry, creative projects and
like
some
today.
Families. Yep. Yes, artists. Yes, anything.
Yeah, your student photography is just amazing. The photographs that you take, the senior photography.
Thank you.
I love your Instagram's amazing. All of it's so good. I haven't had a photographer on, so I really want to have this discussion with you because I don't personally know how photographers make a living or anything until, I had this experience. I hired you today, which I'm so excited, so happy that I did because I previewed the pictures and they're so good. So, but let's go back to like where you're from and everything. So did you grow up here on the Central Coast?
I did. So I was born in Santa Barbara.
Oh.
And then we moved to Nipomo when I was 8, and I've lived in Nipomo ever since, besides college and a few months here and there, but mostly just Central Coast, born and raised.
Wow, okay.
Yep,
So where did you go to college?
I went to college in Hawaii, at Brigham Young University, Hawaii.
Oh,
yes,
how
so
nice. Fun. Wow, that's beautiful. That's
yes.
so fun. Oh, side tangent. I'll have to ask you about that later.
Yeah.
So when you were there, did you study photography or did you
I did not. I actually majored in hospitality and tourism management. It is business for like the hospitality industry. I did not really want to be at college. I liked college, but not classes. So that was just the easiest major. I thought it was interesting and I could apply business to anything else that I wanted to do in the future. So I just went for it, got the degree, got out, and then just kind of like as more history, I also have a cosmetology license.
That explains why you were doing hair so good today.
Yes, and I incorporate that into my business now, which we can talk about. And I also have a real estate license, which is part of the reason I kind of got into photography was because I wanted something that was a little more flexible than real estate. I was doing that, but it's just long hours, nights, weekends, holidays, and I really like to travel. And I wanted to
like to travel.
I really like to travel.
Just for you guys out there, like I work out with Kirsi, and it's like, where's Kirsi this week? Oh, she's in India for the Taj Mahal for the second time.
Exotic traveling.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
So I just wanted something a little more flexible. So I started an online boutique. And that's how I got into photography.
Like a clothing boutique?
Clothing boutique. So I would go to Los Angeles and buy clothing wholesale and then do photo shoots and, style everything and have girls model it and then sell it on the internet. So that's how I started doing photography.
Wow.
Was for that. Back when I didn't really know how to do it.
So how did you, because you're really good. So how long have you been doing photography?
If we include that, 10 years, but as a living, almost 8.
Wow, it's a long time.
Yeah.
So somewhere along the way you went, and I'm going to get serious about photography. And did you take any courses or workshops? Like, how did you? Because I mean, I have a nice camera, but I can only do like the most basic things on it. You know.
Yeah.
You can only YouTube so many videos on how to shoot something.
It is hard in the beginning. I think. Well, I had a just kind of a starter camera that I got at Costco, and I feel like that's how everybody gets started, but I kind of reached the limit of using that equipment. And so I thought, okay, I started learning about just light and different lenses and the camera settings, and I thought, okay, I need to learn how to shoot on manual so that I'm in perfect control over like any lighting situation, and learn how to like see light better. And so a friend of mine actually said, okay, so you need to upgrade your camera. Like, this is what I would recommend, and take it out of the box and put it on manual, and don't ever, ever, ever put it on auto. And you'll have no choice but to like figure out how to use the settings. So I think initially I got on Pinterest and found a little cheat sheet that said, here's what the ISO does, here's what the shutter speed does. Like, you kind of have to learn, here's what the f-stop does, and you have to learn how all of those go together, depending on the result that you want. How you want your background, how you want the light, how fast someone is moving. All of that stuff combines together in a million different ways, and that's what you have to learn to get control over like your artwork. And everybody has a completely different style of how they do that. And I think that's why everybody's photography can look totally different. It can, be bad, good, both good, but not look the same at all. That's because we're all using the camera completely different on like the settings. So that's what I did. I have taken a couple classes from Creative Live. I don't know if you've heard of that, .com.
Yeah.
Which were awesome. Most of them, though, were like business type photography business classes. The camera, I really just practice. My sister and I would go to the beach and, face one way, set the camera up, and the sun's kind of on like a seagull or something. And then we would say, okay, really quick, we're going to turn around. Now it's like shady and the sun's coming into the camera lens, and what's over here, and like just how fast can we reconfigure to like get what we're looking for, because that's really what you have to learn is on a shoot, not to be staring at the back of your camera. And I think people think that it looks too easy, but really, I mean, there's 10 things that we're manipulating every time we click the shutter, if you know what you're doing.
It's super complicated.
And a lot can go wrong. Yeah. And if you're not in control of your camera, you might not know how to fix it.
Okay, I really love that your friend said don't ever put it on auto, because that is great.
Because you can get used to it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's me.
Yeah. And I just recently went to a photography conference.
Yeah, you were there for like 5 days.
Yeah, it was for professional high school senior photographers. And there were a couple people there shooting on auto, which, not judging, but it's just really interesting. Like, if you're going to be professional, I'm thinking, I don't know how professional that is if you're not quite in control of everything. But the teachers were talking about, and this is what my camera settings are on. And someone said, what does that mean? Like, they had no idea that, and I mean, they're making some sort of a living in photography.
Wow.
So, so that was good advice from my friend. I never have. I mean, I'll switch it on to auto when we're on vacation and I'm handing it to somebody else to take a picture because that's your best bet. But when I'm shooting, I always have it on manual. I'm literally choosing every single thing that's going on.
Well, we just did a photo shoot together, just so the people listening to this. You helped me with some photos for a project, and you really made that seamless. I had no idea you were doing all of these changing and stuff. And then you were like fixing my hair and like helping stage the whole thing. It was like really a lot. And I've worked with a lot of photographers. I was telling this earlier to you that, you know, just kind of show up and don't do any kind of art direction or share or any of those things with the person. And like, I'm usually on the art direction, and so to be in front of the camera is super awkward for me. And you made it really great. Just a slight giggle.
Thank you. Yes, silent giggle.
The silent giggle was like, this is so good. It's just enough.
So when my little brother took his senior pictures, there was a list of photographers that he had to go to, and I wasn't on the list because I wasn't quite doing it yet.
Okay.
And I was just kind of getting into, you know, not the model photography, but I went with him, of course, and the photographer, who was really well known, and a lot of, like, his friends were going, you know, to him for senior pictures, and, I mean, he was kind of like the it person, said, you know, oh, hi, nice to meet you, and my little brother said, hi, nice to meet you, you know, what should I do? And he said, oh, go stand over there against that fence, and my little brother was like, okay, and then what? And he's like, I don't know, just stand over there. It looks fine. Like, gave him no direction. You know, my brother's 17. He happened to model for me a lot, so he kind of is comfortable in front of the camera. But I just remember thinking, oh my gosh, like you could almost feel how awkward it was for both of them. That this photographer didn't know how to help my brother, and my brother didn't know what to do. And, I mean, the pictures are decent, but he looks so uncomfortable because there's nobody there to say, okay, you know, put your hand like this, put all your weight on one foot, do this with your shoulders, do this with your head, here's how you giggle. And you have to kind of learn how to put all that together. And so I just thought I never, ever want to be in a situation where I'm making someone feel really uncomfortable during a photo shoot. I'm the one that needs to be, like, in charge, talking through it. And, you know, and then, oh, this is so funny. He looked at the back of the camera and was like, you don't look so good at that angle. And says that right to him. And so he's like, maybe just turn a little, you know, this way. And so, anyways, it was just
And really, it was set on auto? No.
I don't know about that.
I'm kidding.
Possibly. I don't think so. But I just remember thinking, okay, if I ever take pictures of anybody, I want to make them feel super comfortable and not guess what they're supposed to be doing from their head to their toes. Like, I can tell you what to do with your feet, your hips, your shoulders, your hands, you know, your head, your eyes, your facial expression. Here's how you look skinnier.
You really did.
All of it.
You even made my hand look skinny.
Yeah.
Turn your hand that way and relax your hand.
It can make all the difference between you looking comfortable.
Difference. Yeah. No, it was really, really good. You have great grasp on all of that. I really appreciated it. It helped me a lot. And I wanted to ask you too, so it's you and your sister that do this together?
Yeah. So when I started, she was doing a lot of the editing. And now we can kind of fill in for each other. We have the same process. So clients wouldn't know if it was me or her working on the pictures. But she helps once in a while.
But you are mainly
I'm mainly it. Yeah, but I don't want to change the name.
Yeah. Well, no.
Everybody knows LK Photo Shoots now, so.
And so you've gotten some really big awards.
Yes, too. I have. Yes.
So the last one that you got was like the top 100?
Yes. So this is just for high school senior photographers, but the last 2 years, and fingers crossed for this year, I've won the Hot 100, which is the top 100 senior photographers across the globe.
The globe?
Yes. Anybody in the world can enter their work.
Goodness. Mm-hmm. Wow.
And actually,
wow. That's great.
Won. There's a couple different categories, but I won in the category which is straight out of camera, so your picture can't have any edits. Everything
I believe
has to be perfect.
Wow.
Which you can't do unless you know how to, deal with light and do the makeup and have, everything look perfect,
Right.
and then manipulate your camera settings so that when you click, that's exactly what you
the
were
shot.
thinking. So actually both years, that's the category where my images won, I think, which
That's
it's
huge.
just exciting
That says a
because
lot.
you can do a lot with Photoshop, and there's
Yeah.
some amazing photos in there that I couldn't even do in Photoshop of other photographers that have won. But I think, well, how much of that was you, and how much of that was, I outsourced my edit to somebody that, did all of that to the picture, because you can.
Isn't
So-
it interesting to see like the history of photography, like where it's come? It's just really amazing. Like, like you had that one shot.
Yep.
Even like when I was a kid, I mean, you are so young that you're of the digital age. But when I was young, it was like, that's it. That's
But we did the disposable cameras until I was, at least later in high school or early college. I mean, not quite the same maybe as you, but I do know what, like, we would go on a trip and it's like, you have 30 pictures, like, because that's what was on your disposable camera.
Yeah, and that was it. Those were the moments. And
That was it.
I know, and now it's just so different now. But that really speaks a lot to your talent that you can just do it right.
Yeah, I
on
was
the
excited
camera.
about that. And I work hard to win in that category because I think it shows that you know how to do things without relying on like the post-processing, because you can do a lot with editing and Photoshop and filters and whatever people are using on their pictures.
And you like to use natural light. And I mean, you showed me some of the shots that you took today, and I've never felt that good about a photo of me.
Oh my gosh,
And
yes.
that's pre-edit, so.
Yep. I like to use natural light. I think it's a good challenge. I also think it's really pretty and natural and soft. Since I photograph mostly like girls, it makes their skin look really nice.
Yeah.
But everybody has their own style.
Yeah.
Some people
you
would
also
look at
have
it
to
and say,
learn-
no,
sorry.
that's no good. Oh, it's okay. Just some
I don't
people
know.
would, you can have your opinion about anybody's work.
Well, sure. That's true with artists, too.
But
like it
as
is.
long as you have your following of people that like what you're doing,
Sure.
then that's what you need.
That's all that you need.
Yep.
So, gosh, I'm like, my mind's going all these different directions. I wanted to ask you about. So mainly you're doing senior portraits. That's like the bulk of, you would say, like that's
Yeah,
the
that's
bulk of
probably
your
90% of my business.
And it's something that you're doing full time.
I do.
Is that a seasonal thing, or do you do?
It's
a lot of-
seasonal, but I work, 24/7 during the season. And then mostly I have a couple odd jobs
Yeah.
doing social media management and things like that. But I make like the bulk of my income in like 6 months of the year.
So, as a business, it's successful for you, and you enjoy it, and
It is, but you have to work really hard to make it successful, and you really, really have to know what you're doing business-wise.
so that business degree did help.
It helps, yes. Some things help. I think just being business-minded and treating photography like a business has been super helpful. And I've even evolved from the beginning. And I think everybody does. They think like, oh my gosh, someone was willing to pay me $100. Like, this is amazing. And then you figure out, wow, I'm making $1 an hour. Like,
If that,
Yeah.
to like factor in your equipment.
yeah,
and everything,
it's crazy. I mean, if you factor in all of your expenses and you're running it as a legitimate business, paying your taxes, all of that, I mean, someone can cut you a pretty large check that really doesn't go into your pocket. It's
true.
And so if you're not careful and learning to track your expenses and figure out, okay, out of that money, like how much am I making? How much do I need to save for the government? How much is covering my business expenses? Yeah, it's possible, but it's not like we're raking in all of the money that a client gives us.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes people think that.
Oh, I don't know if I've ever thought that, but then I'm an artist, so
Yeah. No, but I mean,
see all
you
this.
might think that
It's
if
kind of a
you're-
similar conversation.
if you're
you have
paying
with
a lot.
artists,
I mean, if, my average is in a few thousands for a senior client and they're getting products and stuff with that, not just digital images, but, albums and wall art and things. But sometimes
you're even going on location with them, right?
Oh, every
You've
time.
Traveled or
Oh, yes. And actually, in 2 weeks, I'm shooting a destination session for a senior in Hawaii.
It's in Hawaii?
Yeah, we're going to go to Hawaii and take her senior pictures.
Wow.
Yeah.
How fun.
Yeah.
You get to go back to your, no.
Kind of roots. Yeah. No, that's where we're going. Yep.
Oh, that's so fun.
And it's taken a long time to get there.
Anybody want me to come paint a picture for them in Hawaii?
You can come with us.
I'll paint you taking photos of her.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so fun. I love your artwork, so.
That would be so fun to do that. I would love to do that.
You'd make like whimsical Hawaii.
Yes,
I love it.
Very, very, the colors are great for me.
Yeah.
They would work out. The other thing I want to talk to you about, though, you were learning the technical aspects of it, all of them kind of bouncing a little bit, but all of those aspects. But, there's like also that innate talent. Like you have to really see how composition works and how colors work together and blend together. And just kind of getting like, even you and I'm super creative too, just bounced off each other in this shoot in there. And you picked up certain things that I just didn't even see. And I was like really kind of impressed and kind of blown away by that. But that's like a natural talent too. Like you're not just picking up a camera and going, okay, this is what enough stuff does. This is what this does. Like you actually have to have a gift to take a really beautiful photo.
Yeah, I think that's true. And I wish I thought I had a little more artistic bones in my body.
Well, you do.
I think that like the technical part came a little bit easier than trying to be artistic, and that's come over time. I used to be so straightforward, like your whole body better be in the frame and perfectly centered in the middle, and I really had to work on being like, okay, let's get kind of funky, and now I'm much more confident at it. But lay on the ground and do all kinds of weird angles and all of that and be comfortable. I mean, when I started doing photography, I would have never agreed to shoot inside your house because I would have said, I don't know how to do that, And now I've gotten really good at finding the light and saying, okay, we need to have you facing this way and this will work, and I'll set the camera like this. But it used to be like I only I kind of learned just doing one type of setting. It needed to be like shade and, with the sun behind. And I had a couple spots that I would shoot, and that's really it. And then as I got more confident.
Spots that you would shoot for the senior photography?
Yeah.
So now you'll kind of shoot wherever?
No, I still want the light to be nice, but I can do full sun. I can do inside through a window. I can do the sun on their face, the sun behind them. I'm much more confident with
So when
all
someone
of
comes to you and they
situations.
say that they want to have a senior portrait, do they have in mind where they want it to be, or did they like look at your Instagram and go, I really like that one you did at the beach, can you do something like that for me? Or are you getting to a point where like, I'm really over the beach, can we do something different?
No, I still want to be true to the senior. I feel like what I'm capturing for them is not for me, it's for them and for their parents and their family. And so I do like to say, okay, please wear this. Like, I want to take you here. Like, I won't include these in your, allotted images, but to do something fun for me, that's more artistic. But I do take their requests. Luckily, most of my clients are coming to me looking for ideas. I don't get bossed around too much by them.
So that's interesting.
I feel like the clientele that I attract now, which is pretty conscious and through my marketing and screening them, before I even book them, is saying, we love your work. We love the lighting. We love how the girls look and they look happy and natural. And what should we do? So that's really fun.
That's nice.
That they trust me. Once in a while, I'll get someone that says, I need to go these 4 places. And as long as I don't think it will look horrible lighting-wise, even if it's not necessarily like my style or my coloring preference, that's okay if that's what they want. Or I'll talk them through it. I think sometimes you have to educate the clients and say, So we can do that, but, you know, this, and that. And then they just stare at you like, okay, I hadn't thought about any of that. Yeah, we better leave that up to you.
Yeah.
But most of the time I say, do you want to go to the beach or not? You know, do you like flowers or not? Do you like urban or not? And then they answer, and then I say, okay, leave it up to me. Most of the time. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's when you're getting to that stride in your career where you can kind of pick and choose the projects that you and the clients that you want to work with too.
I do. Yeah.
I used to say that a lot when I was doing a lot of interior design. It would be like, you know, I'm picking you just as much as you're picking me. Only because it's like a marriage, and like you really both need to get along on both ends. And if we want to create something really awesome together, we have
you need to have the same end goal in mind.
Exactly.
So it's like if they say they're coming to me because they like the light in my photos, and then they say, can we shoot against a brick wall? And then I say, well, we can shoot against a brick wall, but like there's no depth, there's no sun, there's no light to play with. Like it's not going to be the result you're wanting as far as matching what you're seeing in my portfolio. So I don't think you would like that. But if you do, you know, and then I say, here, let me show you some of the girls that we've shot against a brick wall. And then they look and they say, oh, yeah, no, that's not what we were thinking. So I think they, you know,
that's
we
the education
know
that you're talking about.
We know, I know my style. I'm not saying, I know more about photography than anybody in the world or whatever. But for my style and what they're seeing on my website and my social media, and then when they make a suggestion, I say, we can totally do that. But I don't think that that's the style you're going for. And if you do want something urban, let me show you a better spot we could go to. Maybe that would have the same vibe. You know, I think it would look so good with your outfit. So they're really looking to me for that, which is good and bad. It's a little stressful sometimes. Like, oh, I hope you like all these backdrops. But it's good because they're hiring you really because they want to have created for their daughter the type of things that I create, not just saying, oh, she has a nice camera, she'll follow us around to all these random places and make it work.
Yeah. And I think that's part of also pricing yourself appropriately too, because that is also saying that I'm very serious about my profession and what I'm doing, and that you do put a lot of thought into it to the point where it kind of stresses you out. You're like, I really want this to be really, really good for my clients. So,
and just what goes into one picture. So I spend, not all year because I'm not shooting all year, but I spend 6 to 8 weeks or 6 to 8 hours a week in the car location scouting.
Wow.
And saying, okay, you know, the sun is moving for the whole year.
Right.
What looks good? What new flowers have popped up? You know, who's mowed their field that we normally go to?
Yeah.
And things like that. So it's not even just, oh, we've spent 4 hours together and then you edited the pictures. It's like my whole life. Like anytime I'm driving through your neighborhood going, like the light looks nice there. Like they have nice landscaping. That curb is really cool. And so that I can log that all away. And when I, you know, am inspired by someone's outfit or something, I can say, oh, you know what? I have the perfect spot. They usually think I'm crazy, you know, driving into these weird places. But
I get that. I get that even when we were doing this photo shoot. I was looking at the space at the time when we were going to shoot it to make sure there would be enough light, or, you know, would morning have been better, which it wouldn't have been because it would have had too many shadows. And
shining right in.
Yeah, it's because it's your passion and you're doing it. So are you also doing, do you offer like apparel still, or is that something that you're not doing anymore? Like,
oh no,
they have outfits.
That's like probably one of the main reasons people want to book with me. There's actually a couple other really talented senior photographers out of that Hot 100. 3 of them are like local to San Luis Obispo County. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So I have a style closet. I have over like 350 dresses,
oh my gosh,
shirts, hats, jewelry, shoes.
Wow. Why didn't I go there?
I know. We should have dressed you before your shoot, huh? So they come over.
Okay, that's good to know though.
And they have a style, like a wardrobe consultation. I'm like very full service. I don't want to allow any of my clients to just show up being like, oh, I didn't know I needed more than 2 outfits. This is all I brought. Like they're very...
And makeup too is so
they're
important.
very educated through the whole process. So I've met everybody before we even have a shoot, which I think helps make them feel really comfortable.
Very much, yeah.
So they come over, we plan out their outfits head to toe. They can borrow stuff. I can mix and match with stuff that they own and then I always say, like, wear your favorite outfit, something you'd wear to school, even if it's really casual, so we can, like, represent you as a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
And then they, get to pick what they want to wear, pick accessories.
And you do hair and makeup too? Or?
Yep. Then on the day of their shoot, they come over for their hair and makeup, and then we grab all their outfits and go out to 5 or 6 different locations. The Central Coast has so many good options.
Oh my gosh.
We literally have everything you can ever want. Unless you wanted like a forest maybe, but...
Or snow.
Yeah. No, please no. And so many nice days you can shoot outside, 90% of the year and have amazing, like, warm sun, and I love it.
Yeah.
So they don't have to worry about anything, which I think is another reason. It's something I can offer them, is just the peace of mind of not having to say, oh, we booked a makeup artist and she canceled, so we need to reschedule, or we're running behind, or like I can control their entire experience. Like, come over, this is how long it will take. Then, we'll be out shooting until this time, and then you'll be done. And yeah,
it's really a really nice marriage of your business degree, your cosmetology, and then the coffee, like, all really kind of went real beautifully really together in this one business. I really love it. So speaking of business, it's all about advice. So if I'm a high school senior and I'm thinking about, I want to become a photographer, what advice would you give to somebody like that?
I think probably
have you ever had any seniors go, God, I really want to do what you do?
Yes, actually, they shadow me sometimes. Really? I say, come along on a shoot.
That's great.
And bring your camera. Like, you can't, I
no
tell
flash or anything.
Yeah, I tell them what they are and aren't allowed to do, and, they can't shoot my poses and say that they, did it because it's my work, but whatever. Every artist understands that, I think.
Sure.
But if we have a little extra time, I'll even ask the subject, hey, can my past senior, like, take a couple pictures of you? And then I'll help them say, okay, well, you told her to do that, but it'd probably been better if you said to, do this with your hand, and look what happens when you say this to her, and just give them, like, 2 to 5 minutes of experience, like, shooting with me.
That's great. That's really
so
helpful.
I don't mind teaching them just a little bit, or sometimes they just want to come along and watch without their camera, see if they would even like to do something like that.
Yeah.
I think my best piece of advice is, if you want to be a photographer and you love photography, you'll learn that. So you need to force yourself to learn the things that you don't naturally want to learn, which is probably like bookkeeping, which, huge shout out to my mom for doing that in the beginning and then helping me do that now. And all of the accounting stuff, the business, just projections, figuring out how much you need to save, how much you make out of every, chunk of money that you get. And
tracking your expenses.
Tracking all of that.
So take a business class.
Yeah, take a whole business degree. Take a business class, or take a whole... I mean, it's not just that. Usually, the people who market the best get the clients. There's a couple local photographers who I don't think are amazing, but they are booked solid because their marketing is solid. And some that have pictures that aren't really in focus sometimes when I look, and I think, oh my gosh, this is a mess. But, I mean... If you have the personality for it, you have the marketing for it, you're making people feel comfortable, they like that. They don't necessarily about everything being so technically perfect. The eye is perfectly sharp if you zoom all the way in. Well, they're not going to zoom all the way in. They don't even know that that's what they should be looking for. They know that they had fun, they had a good experience, they... got pictures that, they can treasure, and that's what they're looking for. So if you can't learn how to bring in the clients, you don't have a business. It's all about having people that see, oh, that's something that she can help with or that I need. And, you know, she's the perfect person to do that.
And you have to be very much a people person.
Yeah.
I think, you know, I mean, you like really got me to, I was sharing with you like how I certainly don't like to smile, but you
But
kept
your smile's beautiful.
silent giggle, and I like kept giggling through the whole thing, and it was like I was relaxed and stuff, and then I was like shocked at how pretty the picture
It's
came
because
out.
it was authentic.
Yeah.
There's going to be a big difference between
But
you.
that's the people
your
skills that you
smile.
have,
Yeah.
you know, when you can get that to come out of somebody. It's as opposed to the guy going, "Hey, just turn sideways. That look didn't look
Just
that good on
stand
you.
over there. Yeah.
That look doesn't look so good on you. Just turn another
Well, how
way."
you feel on the inside is going to reflect in your facial
Sure.
expression. So if you feel like you're having fun and you feel like you look good and you feel confident and like the person has like got your back, then you'll look much better in every facial expression than feeling awkward. Because if you feel awkward on the inside, then, you know, you can't really be enjoying yourself.
Yeah. No, it's true. All of that's really wonderful advice. I appreciate it very much. So what was the best business advice that was ever given to you?
So I think for my business, the best advice somebody ever gave to me was to learn how to shoot in any situation. I think if you're going to be a professional, then you need to, you have to stay true to your style a little, you know, more or less, but you need to be confident. And if somebody says like, oh, hey, can we take a picture over here on this rock? You can't just say, no, I don't know how to shoot over there. Like, you need to like take a deep breath, adjust your camera settings, like figure out how to pose the model over there, you know, pose the senior over there. And just work towards being so confident that in every situation, you're just like, yeah, sure, I got this. You want to shoot in your art studio? Of course. Like, I'll make it work.
Yeah.
You know, you want to shoot, you know, at high noon? Sure, it might not be like the most ideal thing as far as how you want it to look, but you just have to go learn how to make it work and switch it up and just kind of adapt. And that's helped me a ton because
So really, really, really know your craft.
yes. And I think that helps you be able to adjust to shooting other things too, rather than just saying, yeah, I can shoot a senior, you know, but just with trees behind them at 4:00.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I've had some really big opportunities lately. I had a handbag company that's based in Arroyo Grande, but that's huge all over the United States.
Who knew?
Yeah.
I did not know.
And she reached out to me and said, I'm not a very good model. I need somebody that tells 17-year-olds what to do, and that's you. Because I'm basically a 17-year-old, even though she's 40 or however old she is.
That's awesome.
And
I think I'm 17
but
too.
yeah. And so for that, she said, but I need social media content. So I need to change my outfit like 30 times, and we need 30 different backgrounds, and we need to do it in like 3 hours type of thing. And 10 years ago, Kirsi would have been like, oh my, there's no way, because I only can shoot with trees in the shade and whatever. But because I've been like saying, okay, let's push myself and figure out how to shoot in any situation. I mean, she's like, you're crazy, Kirsi, because we can go to one street in downtown San Luis Obispo and I can shoot on all 4 corners in the middle of the street and facing this way and facing that way and having this as a background and that as a background. And like, they all look amazing and they all look cohesive and,
cool.
You know, they're all over her social media and people love them. So I think you kind of have to learn that so that when the time comes to step out of your comfort zone just a little bit, you could say, yes, like, please hire me rather than chickening out. And saying, I don't think I can meet those demands. Because I would have in the past said, oh, there's no way, you need to find somebody else. But now I'm like, oh yeah, I got that easy.
Yeah, and even on those, it's really good to push yourself creatively. I mean, I know every single job, every house I ever did, it was like every job had a different problem.
Yes.
You know, like I've done this for so many years, but
Yes.
there's always something new. You're like, we'll figure it out. And
Yes.
you grow on like every single experience. But when you get that confident, you're like, I know I can figure it out. It's just, but back in the early days, it's like,
it still
oh my God,
pops
how do I
up.
figure that out?
Yes.
Yeah, it's, like,
it's not like, oh, I'm so confident nothing will go wrong. It's just like, I can figure out anything. Yeah. And also just being a professional, learning when to say, you know what, I thought we could shoot in here, but it really doesn't look good. I'm sorry, you know, can we move out of this alley or whatever? Yeah. And just, you know, instead of just saying, yeah, okay, like, sounds good. You know, you have to be in charge. You be the professional and say, you know what, we tried to use a light. We tried to use a reflector. I tried facing you the other way. Like, you're not going to like it.
Working.
It's not going to work.
Yeah. And that's part of being professional too, is just knowing when to.
And I think they don't say, oh, but I really wanted to do it. They say, oh, okay, really? Yeah, I didn't want it to look bad. So yeah, let's just move on. And they like that, you know?
Yeah. So I kind of hear you saying like, that's really important to be super confident and be very in charge of, in control of the environment, but still be able to co-create. Like we were definitely bouncing, but you took it further, which was really great. But
you have some ideas, which is amazing. Normally people don't have ideas. They don't, you know, they might say, oh, I really want to shoot on the pier, but past that, if they're not artistic people, like they don't have a vision for anything. So I think that they need that if you're working with another artist. Like when I shoot for another photographer, headshots or family pictures or whatever, I talk to them more about like, what's your vision? Or, you know, do you want everyone looking at the camera? Do you want it playful? Like, you know, are you worried about looking thinner? Or, you know, all of that, because I know that they can have that discussion with you. But most people don't even know what to say. Right. So
no, you're right. It's not that they're not smart or anything. It's just that not something they do every day.
And it's not something they do. If you're a senior, it maybe is the first or second time you've ever been professionally photographed. You might have had awkward family pictures once a year type of thing in a group, but you've probably never had like a portrait of yourself besides like a school picture, which is a whole different style in its own. And so they're really looking to you to say, okay, trust me, this is what you do to look good. And
it's funny, even in this like age of total selfies and people are very aware of their iPhone cameras and stuff, that there's still something very different about having a professional photo. I know a lot of artists that I talk to on this podcast, and I always ask them about, you know, I'll go, gosh, you know, you have a beautiful website. And they're like, I invested in good photography. It's worth every penny. Every one of them has said that to me. And it's like, yep, I hear you.
Yeah.
It's just different. It's different than, I mean, you can get a good photo with an iPhone, but you're not going to get what you do with your cameras.
No.
It's really different.
You have to put everything together. With an iPhone, people will say, oh, right now, for that 10 seconds, the light looks good, so I'll snap a selfie. But they don't know how to go in any situation and, you know, take amazing pictures with their iPhone.
Yeah, exactly.
They do know if they have a good side.
I know my good side.
You knew.
I only got one side. It's not that good. but that's what Photoshop's for. Yes. Anyway. Well, thank you so much, Kirsi.
You're welcome.
Gosh, I learned so much from you. This is really, really interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for having me.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you like this podcast and you'd like to support it even more, you can join me over on patreon.com/MariRobeson and become a patron of mine. If you're a patron of mine, you'll receive bonus episodes every month, only for patrons. You'll also receive 20% off all the merchandise in my online shop, marirobeson.bigcartel, and you will be receiving free printables every month that will be of my artwork, and they're some really fun things. You can follow along on Instagram and you can see what I'm creating just for my patrons. I would deeply appreciate it. It would help me keep the lights on, and it would help me pay all the fees that it takes to put together a podcast like this so that I can keep supporting all the artists, keep bringing you great information, keep paying it forward to the next generation of artists. It's just a wonderful thing, and I would really deeply appreciate your support.